Hello there, welcome back to Jennie Designs with Paper. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. I'm working in my art journal, so get comfy and let's get crafty. The art journal page I'm working on today is for the Artsy Trio Mood Board number 32, created by Marie Linder. And the title of this is Think Green, which I'm in love with because I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm all about the greens. I love the greens. I love all of the greens. So I have on my workplace here a copy of the mood board photograph or printout, whatever you want to call it, and a piece of 8-inch by about 5.5-inch mixed media paper. I am going to put this piece of Tim Holtz tissue paper down on top of this art journal page just to kind of wreck the background, right? To get the background not white. I am using a liquid medium. I'm using a gloss medium because it won't matter in the end, and I'm just trying to use this all up. It's getting kind of thick and crusty. I want to get rid of it so I don't have to throw it away, and you get rid of it by using it up. So I've put a layer of the liquid medium underneath the tissue paper, and I'll put the rest of what's in my brush on top of the tissue paper. Once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and heat set that until it is good and dry. It's going to be glossy, which I don't love. I've mentioned before that because I live in a humid area, that glossy makes the pages stick together. Now, instead of trimming the tissue paper off, I decided to put a little double-sided adhesive along the back edge and just flip those extra pieces over. Sometimes this tissue paper does not always trim super clean after it's gotten wet. So that was my thought process there. In order to knock back that gloss, I'm going to add a layer of clear gesso. Now this is a twofold step. I want to knock the glossy part back, but I also want to give this another layer of non-porousness, whatever that word would be. I need to make it as non-porous as possible. Because to add the green, I'm going to be using alcohol inks. Now, normally alcohol inks use kind of a Yupo paper or a plastic type paper. It does need to be a non-porous slick surface. So this is a complete experiment on my part. I've added some of that alcohol ink. Oh, the blending formula. There we go. And I have 3 different colors of green. One is a Ranger, 2 are just a brand I bought on. Oh, I got them at Hobby Lobby. They were like on clearance for $2. $2 or $3, something like that. So I'm just going to use my little air blower puffy tool thingy here and add more blending medium and more ink as I go along. I also have a couple of golds. One is an Amazon gold and one is an Tim Holtz mixative. The mixatives are a little bit different than a traditional gold alcohol ink. They're like, they have more mica in them, I think. I don't know exactly what makes them a little different, but in my experimentation, they're different. So I thought I would try both of them on this page and just see how they worked together and with these other alcohol inks. I am in love with the layers of green that I'm getting here. You can still see the text and the music notes and that part of the butterfly that was on that Tim Holtz tissue paper. It just adds more luxury or texture or something to that background that I just love. And unfortunately, I'm going to cover most of it up. So this gold I'm putting down here is the Amazon brand alcohol ink. It just kind of mixes with the other alcohol inks. The second one I'm putting on here that I'm shaking up really, really good, this is the Tim Holtz mixative. My nozzle is stuck. I have to unstick it, and then I clear it out with my pokey tool, and then a glob falls on my paper. So not really what I was going for. The mixative has more mica or something in it, and there's a little ball in it that you have to shake that until that ball is moving freely in the alcohol ink or the gold mixative ink. So that's why I had to shake it quite a bit more than I had to shake the other gold. It does leave kind of this gold blotch on my front of my page. Added a little bit more green and a little bit more mixative to it to kind of blend it out. When the page is done, a lot of that is covered up. So I used, and you can't really see on my camera, for some reason, this segment of my video, the light just blew out in my craft room. I don't know what's going on. So I'm using this Polaroid camera to kind of create Polaroids. You saw my air quotes there. I'm going to fake Polaroids. I've used the color palette, the green. There's this gray stone color in there. And the Think Green title really is just a nod to my background because I intentionally made my photographs not green. You know, every time I say photograph or Polaroid, I'm using air quotes here like you can see me. I know. I made them not green to kind of pull them up off of that background page, so that green background page has its own place. The green in the background has its own place on the page. So I have cut this white frame out of a lightweight cardstock. I really probably should have used a little bit heavier cardstock. This is basically a heavy printer paper. And then I realized I forgot a step that I had planned on doing. So thankfully it's liquid adhesive. And even if it tears that bottom of that gray piece of paper, it won't matter because it's going back on in the same place and it's going to be covered up. But I wanted to add some ink blending to the edges of this really light gray cardstock that is the background of my Polaroids, because I remember Polaroids as having kind of a grayish background. Even after they were fully developed, the background never quite got bright. So that's why I chose this really light gray, lightweight cardstock. It's like a 65-pound cardstock. I think the white frame is only like a 32-pound copy paper, maybe something slightly heavier than that. Probably should use something a little thicker. I did put some ink around the inside of that white frame and then around the outside of the white frame, as well as the gray part. And you can see I've measured these to fit the front of that camera. Now that camera is clearly not actual size, but the photographs themselves fit the opening that would be on that camera. And that's because I'm a little bit... Sometimes I get hung up on the details, and sometimes I completely skip them, let's be honest. Sometimes the details just do not register. But I wanted the pictures, these Polaroids, to look like they actually came out of this camera that I'm putting on my page. Why I came up with a camera and Polaroids for my focal image for a Think Green art journal that clearly has nothing to do with that, I don't know. That's just where my brain went. And the mood board does have some kind of vintage posters and photographs and stuff. So, you know, I'm okay with it. This bird is clearly not going to all be in the picture. Totally don't care about that either. I did kind of mark the bottom of the feet with a little pen there that you'll never see, just so that I knew where I wanted that bird after I got the glue on it. I didn't want to have to kind of guess at that, because I didn't want to end up chopping off the head of the bird. Even though, let's be honest, a lot of us, our Polaroids kind of did come with, disembodied people or heads or things, especially when we were first learning how to take pictures with old school cameras. Very often our subject was literally cut off in the photograph. Okay, or mine were. Pardon me, I had to stop my voiceover and sneeze there. But the third photograph or Polaroid I'm putting on here is just a grouping of flowers. Now, all of these die cuts are die cuts I got from, I think, Hobby Lobby. I think they're Paper Studio brand. I don't have the packaging anymore because it ripped, and so I put them in a different container. But yeah, I think they all came from Hobby Lobby. So I'm using my stash, using what I've got. To be fair, I did buy new stuff. I bought some new stamps and dies from Honeybee when I got their, I bought a bunch of bling from them too, which I'm just loving. My background, super sticky. There's so much alcohol ink on this paper, and because it's not Yupo paper or plastic paper, it is taking a bit longer to dry than even normal. So I did heat set that a little bit. It's still quite sticky. I'm going to put it to the side here and work on a couple other things. The photograph, or the Polaroid camera rather, was on a heavyweight printer paper, but I felt like it needed a little bit more substantial. So I'm just going to back it on this really lightweight gray cardstock that I used for the Polaroid backgrounds. I'm going to trim that out super quick with my scissors. Nothing too, it's basically a square with a couple of rounded corners. Nothing too fussy on this, which is kind of why I chose this camera when I decided to start looking at photographs, because this was a really easy one to trim out. My original plan was to find like a vintage camera, but I didn't want to fussy cut that. And now that I'm thinking about it, I could have printed it on cardstock and stuck it through my scan and cut, or even cut one out with my Cricut. I don't know. It's just not where my brain went. I wanted easy because I had this plan in my mind that was screaming to come out. So I also wanted to add a little bit of detail to my photographs. So I've pulled out this Hero Arts Textures background stamp set. This one stays on my desk a lot. I use it for mostly art journal pages, but even some cards sometimes. I'm going to add some scripty text to the part of the Polaroid where you would like write. I should probably have used the other one that went the whole length of the photograph, the bottom of the photograph, but whatever. It is what it is. I'm just adding a little bit of scripty stamp on there. I am going up onto the die cuts, the actual picture part of these Polaroids. And I don't care. I love it. I think it looks fabulous. It makes them kind of look like field guide pictures, right? I still had tons of sticky alcohol ink. And what I should have done was grabbed my scraps of toner foil, because you can use that sticky alcohol ink to pick up the gold foil off the toner paper stuff, but I didn't. And here's where my camera kind of wigged out again. I think putting that white paper on top of my green background kind of freaked it out. But this is my plan. It's not the sharpest image, but you can kind of see where I'm going. So I'm going to add liquid glue to the back of my, air quotes here again, Polaroids. I did end up with some boo-boos where I got some of that green alcohol ink on the fronts of my focal points or focal images. One of them I just covered up with the next picture. The other one I had to kind of dab off a little bit because it was on my fingers. See right there on the bird, like, oh, I've got alcohol, yeah, got ink on my fingers, but whatever. We are moving on. We are not getting hung up on the oopsies and the boo-boos, because any little ink smudge is an opportunity for embellishment, right? That's where we're going here. I did end up with a little bit of alcohol ink on the front of the camera as well, but it was on the black lens part, so it wasn't super noticeable. I did put that copy paper, folded it in half, and then rubbed it back down there again, just so that I could add some pressure to my focal images. In my washi drawer, I have these washi tapes that look like postage stamps. And this particular one is all botanicals, like mushrooms and flowers and things. So I grabbed 3 little pieces of this to put down as if that is what is holding those pictures, the Polaroids, onto my art journal page. Love how that part turned out. It is still really sticky, so putting the backing on this is going to be tricky. I flipped it over and grabbed some more of that really strong double-sided tape, and my camera freaked out here again as well. So sorry about that. I took the backing paper off of the tape, or the release paper off of the tape strips, and then I just grabbed a piece of green pattern paper from my green pattern paper drawer. Yes, my pattern paper is organized in color families. I grabbed my Fiskars wire guided trimmer to trim that down. It did not go on straight. Did not care. The pattern on the back did not lend itself to needing to go on straight. This is just to cover up the mess on the back. That's all. I got all kinds of stuff all over my Fiskars. I did sign it right here on the side of this Polaroid to make it look even a little bit more field guidey. And here is a better end image of my page. Luckily, I was able to get a good photograph because I used my phone, not my video camera, to take that picture. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I've added a couple of other videos here I think you might like. I've also added that subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you did. Leave me a comment down below and tell me what your favorite color is. Leave me a thumbs up if you like the video. It really helps YouTube to push that video out to other people. And have a really great day.